everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Tony asks Darren for relationship advice. Darren is in a mess about JJ and Frankie ahead of his results. At the hospital, JJ tells Darren how much he is missing his family. Darren opens up to him, but it's tough love as he tells him that while he wants him to recover, he also wants him to face Frankie in court. Meanwhile, Steve hatches a plan to play the long game. Here's a detailed Hollyoaks storyline spoiler about Darren giving JJ a warning. The narrative will center around emotional conflict, family tension, and some intense drama, a hallmark of Hollyoaks. Since a full 9,000-word storyline would be vast, I'll summarize and dive deep into key plot moments that carry this narrative forward while maintaining its essence. Hollyoaks spoiler: Darren warns JJ, secrets, tensions, and consequences. Act I, a family on edge. It begins in the familiar setting of Darren Osborne's household, but the atmosphere is thick with unease. JJ, now a teenager, has started acting out in ways Darren can't ignore. Over the past few weeks, JJ has been involved in increasingly questionable activities, skipping school, staying out late, and associating with a crowd Darren knows all too well. The tension between Darren and his son has been growing as Darren struggles to reach out to him, feeling the familiar sting of his own rebellious past creeping into the boy. Things come to a head when Nancy, who has been worried sick about JJ, confronts Darren in the kitchen one morning. She expresses her frustration at how they seem to be losing control over JJ, and she's worried that something darker is going on with him. Darren, though trying to remain calm, shares Nancy's anxiety but insists that he can handle it. He knows JJ better than anyone, or at least that's what he tells himself. Nancy suggests that maybe JJ needs professional help, someone to talk to outside the family, but Darren immediately shuts the idea down. His own unresolved trauma around family and seeking help makes him uncomfortable, and deep down, he believes he can reach JJ if he just tries harder. But time is running out. Act I, dark influences. One afternoon, Darren follows JJ after he leaves the house in a rush, ignoring Darren's calls to stay behind. He's noticed that JJ's been spending time with a local group of kids who have a reputation for causing trouble. Underage drinking, petty theft, and occasional run-ins with the law. But Darren is about to discover it's worse than he imagined. As Darren watches from a distance, JJ and his friends gather at a secluded area near an abandoned warehouse, laughing and talking in hushed tones. Darren's stomach churns when he notices one of the older boys handing JJ a small package. The exchange is quick, but the implications are clear. JJ has gotten involved in something dangerous, possibly drugs. It's a stark reality Darren doesn't want to face, but he knows he has to intervene before it's too late. Unable to contain his emotions any longer, Darren storms over, startling JJ and his friends. The boys scatter in different directions, leaving JJ alone to face his father's fury. Darren grabs JJ by the arm, demanding to know what he's been up to. JJ, defiant and angry, pulls away from his dad, refusing to answer. The confrontation escalates. Darren's voice rises, frustration and fear spilling out as he tells JJ he knows what's going on and won't allow his son to ruin his life. But JJ, feeling cornered and embarrassed in front of his friends, lashes out. He accuses Darren of never understanding him, of treating him like a kid when all he wants is some freedom. Darren, taken aback, tries to explain that he's only trying to protect him, but JJ isn't listening. The hurt and tension between father and son boils over, leaving Darren standing alone as JJ runs off into the night. Act I, conflicting advice. Later that night, Darren confides in Nancy, shaken by what he saw. He can't shake the image of JJ holding that package, and he's terrified that his son might be spiraling into something far worse than typical teenage rebellion. Nancy, ever pragmatic, insists that they need to get the police involved, or at the very least, bring in social services to intervene. But Darren can't bear the thought of bringing the law into it, not after everything the family has already been through. He's afraid of losing JJ for good if they involve outside forces. The next morning, Darren seeks advice from an unlikely source, Luke Morgan, who has experience with troubled teens and knows what it's like to be lost. Luke, surprisingly sober and clear-headed, listens intently as Darren explains his concerns about JJ. Luke urges Darren to confront the issue head-on, but not pushing JJ too hard could backfire, especially if JJ is feeling misunderstood or isolated. Luke suggests a more personal approach, advising Darren to sit JJ down and have a real heart-to-heart before things spiral further. Darren mulls over the advice, knowing deep down that he can't keep putting this off. He's never been great at expressing his emotions, especially when it comes to his kids. But for JJ's sake, he has to try. Act IV, The Warning. The following day, Darren finds JJ alone in his room, earbuds in, and his phone glued to his hand. Taking a deep breath, Darren knocks gently before stepping inside. JJ barely acknowledges him, but Darren presses on. He starts with a simple, "We need to talk," but JJ's defensive walls are already up. Darren tries to ease into the conversation, bringing up their argument from the other night, and explaining that he's not trying to control JJ's life, he's just scared. Scared of what he saw, scared of what JJ might be getting into. JJ rolls his eyes at first, but something in Darren's voice makes him pause. For the first time in a long time, JJ hears the vulnerability in his dad's words. Darren goes on, opening up about his own troubled youth, how he too made bad decisions, hung out with the wrong crowd, and thought he was invincible. He tells JJ that he knows the allure of that life, but he also knows where it leads. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He tells JJ about the real consequences of going down that path, how it cost him friends, nearly his freedom, and almost his life. Darren's voice cracks as he tells JJ he doesn't want that for him. JJ, visibly uncomfortable, shifts in his seat. Darren sees the conflict on his son's face and knows he's getting through, but JJ remains stubborn. "I'm at you, Dad," JJ says, his voice cold. "I can handle myself." That's when Darren delivers the warning. "No, JJ, you can't. You think you can, but I've seen what happens. The people you're hanging out with, whatever they're into, it's not just fun and games. It's dangerous. And once you're in, it's not easy to get out." JJ falls silent, his defenses faltering for a moment. Darren's gaze hardens as he continues, "You're my son. I love you, but I'm not going to let you throw your life away. If I have to, I'll pull you out of this mess myself, and you might hate me for it, but I'll do it, because that's what a father does. He protects his family." JJ, finally shaken by Darren's intensity, doesn't respond. The tension hangs in the air as Darren waits for his son to say something, anything, but JJ just stares at the floor. Darren's heart breaks a little, knowing he can't force JJ to listen, but he's planted the seed. All he can do now is hope that JJ will make the right choice. Act B, A Betrayal and a Choice. A few days later, JJ's behavior remains erratic and Darren grows more concerned. It seems like the warning might not have gotten through. However, things take a dramatic turn when one of JJ's friends is caught by the police during a drug raid. The boy, desperate to avoid jail time, names JJ as one of the people involved in the deal. When Darren gets wind of this from the village gossip, his heart sinks. He confronts JJ that evening, furious and terrified. But JJ denies everything. He insists that his friend is lying to save himself, but Darren isn't sure what to believe. His trust in JJ has been shaken, and the weight of their last conversation lingers in the air. Darren gives JJ an ultimatum. He can either come clean and let Darren help him before things get worse, or he can continue down this path and risk destroying his future. JJ, now feeling the pressure from both the law and his father, is caught in a web of lies and fear. He realizes he's in over his head, but his pride won't let him admit it just yet. Later that night, JJ sneaks out again, this time heading to meet the same group of friends, Darren warned him about. He's at a crossroads. Stay loyal to the group, or break free before it's too late. Act VI. The final confrontation. Darren, having had a bad feeling ever since JJ stormed out, follows him in secret. He watches from a distance as JJ approaches the group, who are clearly up to no good. There's a palpable tension in the air as JJ hesitates, clearly torn about what to do. But before JJ can make a decision, Darren steps out of the shadows. "What are you doing here?" JJ snaps, trying to keep his cool in front of his friends. But the fear in his voice is unmistakable. Darren, stern but calm, locks eyes with his son. "This is it, JJ. Right here, right now, you have to decide." Jay's friends mock him, telling him to stop listening to his dad and just go along with the plan. But Darren doesn't back down. He steps closer, ignoring the group, his entire focus on his son. You know what happens if you go with them. You know where this ends. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Hollyoaks Update YouTube channel for more update news.